living la vida low carb. This show is changing lives. We talking about your diet, trying to get you feeling right. Cut up them avocados, fry some eggs. Time to explore the longest running health podcast, hosted by Jimmy Moore. Time to give up the crappy garbage. We're getting into ketosis. Every day is a new step to your goal. Yeah, you're getting closer, motivated and focused. Don't stop, just go. Time to get inspiration from the Living La Vida Low Carb Show. Hey, the livinglowcarbshow.com.
Guys, that right there is Coach Lulu. Go check her out over on Instagram. Lulu Eats Meat. I love your description because I know you're a chick named Lulu, and I know you like to eat meat. So it's a well done, very well done. But she's here today. We will touch on your carnivore story just a little bit, but we're going to talk about mindset and goal setting, all these things that I think are at the root cause of why people fall off the wagon and don't do well. So we're going to help people today brain a little bit. And this is a topic I'm really interested in myself right now, being someone that tries to help people with mindset. I'm going to pick your brain a lot today. But welcome. It says your carnivore is not your religion. By the way, I love that you put that in your profile. There's so many people, oh, I'm carnivore. And it's like, okay, and you're starting to sound like the vegans when you do that. It's like they do have it as their veganism is their religion. And so I love the way you put it that way. You are from Australia. Where are you in Australia?
Queensland, on the Sunshine Coast.
Yes. I've done 3 visits over there with book tours, talking over there. I love Australia. If I didn't live in America, I would want to live actually in Tassie is where I would want to live.
Oh, yeah. Beautiful place. The other end of Australia for me. I'm in the hot end. That's the cold end.
Sydney and Brisbane and Melbourne and Adelaide and the Gold Coast and Perth. I've been all. The only one I didn't go to was Darwin.
Into the Northern Territory. I live about an hour from Brisbane.
So you thought. I remember when I went there was like December, and it was in my
summer.
in my degrees. For the people watching in America, that's like 110 degrees is what it was. It's about 40 Celsius, which is pretty normal for Brisbane. So
very warm, very, very warm.
Very warm,
and humid. It's quite humid.
I remember they had me play this like lawn bowling type game. Apparently it's popular in Australia.
Yes.
And I got so sunburned that day. I did have fun, so that was good. Well, thank you for being here. You do teach yoga as well. You are married. You've healed OCD and your eating disorder with a carnivore diet. Tell us a bit of your carnivore story. How did you get into this? Obviously, you had issues going on. What led you to carnivore?
Yeah, so for me, my neighbor was trying carnivore, and I went to their house for a barbecue, and he was only eating meat, and I thought, what are you doing? What's going on here? And he had advised me, his orthopedic surgeon had been sending him information about the carnivore diet. And because he has a fused spine, and I have a back issue. I've got a bulging disc in my L4, L5. And I've been having cortisone shots constantly, and I was taking quite strong medication as well for it daily. And he's like, oh, you should just give it a go. You know, you've tried everything else. And I was like, I don't think I can just eat meat. That sounds really crazy. So yeah, that's where it started. It kind of piqued my interest. We went home and my husband said, I've watched this on Joe Rogan. Like, let's watch the episode. So it was with Joe Rogan and Sean Baker. Yeah. So we watched that. And then it was like, oh, okay, there's something to this. And then a few other little, like, the universe had sent me a few other signals that week. I'd spoken to a trainer at my gym who was a female, and she was asking about my back injury, and I was saying I was thinking about trying this carnivore diet, and she was like, I've been vegan for 6 years, and I've started carnivore 6 months ago. Best decision I made.
Wow.
So I was like, okay, I've got to try this. I've got to see what this is like. And from there, I kind of started more like an animal-based diet. And then I moved to a stricter style of carnivore. And right now I've been carnivore for close to 7 or 8 months.
Yeah.
And yeah, now I feel amazing. I've still got back pain, but it's so much more manageable now. And then it helped me with so many other things. So with my mental health and so on from there.
Well, well done. Congratulations on finding it. You're going to continue to heal as that inflammation comes down. You know all the benefits. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think it's easy to be a carnivore in Australia because everything, like we have to like search out grass-fed, grass-finished, all the kind of. When I went over there, I was like, so where's the grass-fed? They're like, it's all grass-fed. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, okay.
There's not much grain finished. It's a lot of grass. Yeah, it's a lot of grass, and it's easy to buy when you go to the butcher. You can just buy grass fed, like
And affordable. It's everywhere. I mean, some of them that you don't need farmers markets because your market is a farmers market basically with a lot. They have a lot of crap. I'm not trying to say it's glorious, the food culture there, but if you go to a supermarket, you can pretty much buy some really good quality foods. And then you've got interesting things native to there, like kangaroo.
Ooh, one of my favorites.
When I got there, a little lean for Jimmy Moore, but
it's very lean. Yeah, it's extremely lean. I love it. It's not something I have very often because I love fatty meat. But if I was having a leaner kind of day, if I felt like it, then yeah, I love kangaroo. But it's just how you cook it. I have to cook it in the oven to have it how I like it.
Yes.
Like I roast it because it's quite, like you said, it's lean, so it can be quite chewy. So, but it's really like the rich flavor is delicious. Right. Really great.
Interesting flavor, and I'm glad I tried it because I've tried alligator. I've had things like native to America. So when I go to other countries, I'm like, oh, what's different here? What, like, you don't eat koala bears? Like they're so
they're just too beautiful. No, kangaroos, koalas are like, you know, on our endangered.
Yes.
Like so. I'm not sure if they're endangered yet, but they're very. We've had a lot of problems with our bushfires and koalas, and so. We don't eat those.
Are so synonymous with Australia, just like bald eagles here in America. We don't eat those. They're
don't eat a bald eagle. Well, kangaroos are like, we have people have to cull them. They're just, you know, we have, and a lot of people with their land, as much as, you know, they're one of our native animals, and they're like, they're on a lot of our, you know, government sign, you know, we represent the emu and the kangaroo a lot. A lot of farmers have a lot of issues with kangaroos, like they really get in and ruin their land and everything. So people, there's a lot of, that's why we eat them, I guess. There's so many of them.
Yeah. Well, it's like deer here in America. We have hunting because you've got to control the population or they will ruin society. And so it probably is similar. You probably have hunting season for kangaroo to try to control the population. So it's interesting. It's how our food comes into being.
That's it. That's why that's what we do. We have to eat it. So.
Well, congratulations on starting Carnivore, keeping that going. I want to go back to when you first started and you saw at this Bobby that you went to, you saw all of the meats and you're like, where's the sides? Where are the potatoes? And where's all this stuff? Like, tell us about that mindset. We're going to kind of use this as the transition to get into mindset shifting. Like, did that shock you? Was that like, oh my gosh, how can you just eat meat? Like, what was that like in that very moment?
I think it was like, you know, what am I going to have on the side was definitely a thing. And for me, it started with, I just replaced sides with eggs. So I found just having steak and eggs at dinner time, for instance, really helped me. If you name the diet, I'd tried it basically. So it wasn't like I'd tried keto before. So I was sort of like aware of keeping things simple. And it was really hard at the start not to have something with my meat. But then I just kept having steak and eggs. And at the start, I always had something with something. So it'd be like bacon and eggs, steak and eggs, things like that. And then I'd have some cheese or I'd add something. But as I got more, you know, got onto Instagram and I got onto YouTube and I started watching what other people ate, I was like, oh, I don't have to have those things. So really watching other people's journeys and watching other people's Instagram stories or posts and whatever else really helped me get that direction of like, what's it got to look like.
And there's some creative ones out there. My friend JC, Lady Carnivore, comes up with
amazing.
I mean, I look at some of the stuff she comes out with, and I'm like, how is that all animal-based foods?
It's crazy. She's so amazing. I just spoke to her last week. And she's so inventive. I keep it really simple. And that's what I love about carnivore for me, is it's just like, we have a saying in Australia, keep it simple, stupid. So like, I like to keep it. And that's what I love the most about it. But my husband does carnivore. He's sort of like a Monday to Friday carnivore.
Yes.
But he'll have steak, and then I'll make him like an egg salad with, boiled eggs, mayonnaise, and a bit of bacon in it. And that's sort of what he'll have, like steak and an egg salad is what I call it.
Yes.
It's really easy. You just have to kind of, just think about your food. Like I meal plan ahead, so I know what we're going to have for dinners ahead as well. So that we keep it exciting, which is important.
And that's wonderful. You have another saying in Australia, she'll be right, mate.
She'll be right.
Like, it's just like, take things in stride.
And I think that's where my mindset comes into, is that you just got to get on with it.
Yeah.
And that is really like the Australian way, is just come on, like, let's get on, move on. And that's what I sort of have found with my coaching. My style is probably like, I'm a bit like black and white, but it's just, it kind of works for people. No one wants, when you're like trying to goal set, you need to be like held accountable, and there's no room for any of that. You just have to make a decision, and you just have to do it,
So as you know, I'm in the midst of a 100-day journey. I'm calling sabbatical to day 50 as of today, as of the recording of this. And so
amazing. Congratulations.
Thank you. And so the 100 days was a goal. It wasn't the all end all. And this is something I want to dive in with you. When you set a goal, it doesn't mean that you're going to start here, you're going to end here, and then everything. The point of kind of setting goals in any arena of life, not just your diet or your health goals, but even business goals, relationship goals, you have a period of time where you're really intensively focusing on it. So you then learn the habit that then when it's over, the challenge is over, this 100 days is over, I'm going to keep going long after that. But you needed this as kind of the impetus to get you started.
Yeah, and that's it. It's really putting in order goals that are also achievable, goals that aren't like setting yourself a goal that's not like that you can't see as being achievable as well. It's just, it's not worth it.
Right.
And like with you're walking and everything else, like you set a goal to walk every day, but if your body is telling you today is not the day, then you don't do it, and you honor that, and you don't feel guilty because you wake up and tomorrow's a new day and you continue on the journey. We get stuck up in this guilt pattern of like, this is what I'm going to do, and then tomorrow I can't do it. Oh well, I'll just leave it, and then it rolls into it's over.
And we idealize the journey as needing to be absolutely 100% perfect. Anything gets off. This is the funny thing to me, why people, they fell off the wagon. I told this story the other day on my walk and talk, but people will basically be going along really well several months into their journey, let's say a carnivore journey, and then they go to their kids' has a birthday party, and they have some cake. And they're like, oh no, it's all done. I've fallen off the wagon. I'm thinking, why? Like, you just had an amazing last few months. Okay, this is a little, but did you have fun with the kid? Did you make memories? And it's like, we need to remember we're bigger than any one mistake we might make. And look, if you plan it, okay, I had it, get right back on plan. No big deal. No worries.
Agreed. And that's the thing. I hate the word cheat. I hate when people say I'm going to have a cheat meal. A cheating is something you do to gain an advantage. And you're not gaining any advantage by having a cheat meal. If you choose to eat something outside of your like lifestyle choice, so whether it's carnivore, keto, whatever, that's just a choice you make. Yeah. And if you want to make that choice to eat something crappy or something that's going to make you feel bad tomorrow, that's on you. Like, And that's like me. If it's my birthday and I want to have a piece of cake, I'm gonna have a piece of cake. My mum makes a lasagna. Like, I come have an Italian background. My mum was to make a lasagna and all the family went there. If I wanted to have a piece of lasagna, I'm going to do that without guilt. But if I feel, and I'm going to feel like shit the next day, excuse my language, but
you can say
but that is on me, and it's not, I haven't ruined my carnivore journey. I made a choice to, and that's why I say carnivore is not my religion, because if I make a choice, and that is my choice. Like, it's not a cheat. I'm still a carnivore as far as I'm concerned the next day.
Girl, I went to Italy 2.5 years ago. I'm not going to Italy and not having friggin' pizza, not gelato. Like, I had all the everything, and it was glorious. And it's like those choices when in Rome, literally in Rome, have the things that you're going to have. And it's like when you're living your life, as long as it's not an everyday occurrence. That's
it. It's not, it's like sparingly. Like, my mum hasn't actually made a lasagna while I've been a carnivore, thank God. And my family have been amazing. They're like, we just have barbecues, and like, they really support me in this because they've seen what it's done for me. Yes. But if I chose to do that, although we'd still go to dinner and there would be options for me, there'd be no issue. It's on me. And I know that eating badly can really affect my mental health. In June, we went away for my birthday, and I had a week where I tried to stay carnivore, but it was pretty loose. And the next week when I got back, my anxiety and my OCD was up, flaring. I hadn't had it that bad since like the start of the year. So I was aware of what happened. So if I want to stay well, I need to stay on track. And that is really important. But if I choose to have one bad meal once every few months, or it's not even a bad meal, if I make a choice to have something outside of my lifestyle, then that's okay as far as I'm concerned. Because I get up and the next day I'm back on the wagon because I know what this does for me.
I think sometimes we should test our bodies to see where we are, especially people in my world. I wrote Keto Clarity as you know, and encourage people to get into a state of ketosis, but I'm like, sometimes push that boundary. Okay, maybe you started with insulin resistance and ketosis or carnivore or whatever helped you kind of heal that. How do you know that you've become more insulin sensitive if you don't test it with something a little higher carb, maybe a little more protein or whatever than you are typically used to eating? See how you do, test your blood sugar, and just don't make a big deal about it, but kind of say, okay, I want to have this thing. Now let's see what happens. Like that, that's the beauty when you start to experiment. You have to see what you're feeling.
Yeah, and that's it. Just like, it's like an experiment. We need to try, and I don't plan to be carnivore strictly forever at all. And I've already been reintroducing some fruit. So I've been eating bananas again occasionally without any issue. I've been eating blueberries again occasionally. I plan to be somewhere. I don't know where I'm going to sit on this animal-based scale, but carnivore isn't realistic for me forever. And I know that, and I'm totally okay with that. And I'm really honest about that. Some people are just, that is for them, but that's just not what I want to get from this. I want to be able to add foods back into my diet that, I give me a bit of just something else, so.
Keto can be hard. Tabulating, measuring, baking, taking 3 months to perfect one recipe, and to mixed reviews.
Did something die in here? Oh, I think it moved.
And by that point, you give up your diet, find a dark corner, and stuff yourself with sugar, carbs, and regret.
This, isn't what it looks like.
Well, this is where Keto Chow saves the day. The easiest, tastiest, ketoist meal replacement on the market.
It's like ice cream melted in my mouth.
Yes, but melted ice cream with all the protein, nutrients, vitamins, and electrolytes your body needs.
Oh, that's cool.
And with 3 starter kits, each with restaurant tips, keto food guides, and a ton of flavors to try, your taste buds and your waistline will thank you.
Thank you.
So grab your starter kit today at jimmylovesketochow.com.
It's so easy.
Keto Chow. Make keto easy.
So you guys have beautiful avocado.
Oh my God. I haven't got there yet, but I can't wait. I miss them so much.
There's the oxalate issue and all this kind of stuff. Okay, fine.
Yeah.
Every once in a while you can have those kinds of things. But yeah, life is not complete without a little guacamole every once in a while.
I know, right? I haven't had any for so long. I've been having my sour cream still, but yeah. And that's the thing, I've been able to introduce those 2 things back. I don't have them every day, but I have them often, bananas and blueberries, and they've been fine. And then once I slowly introduce one thing at a time and see if I tried raspberries and that didn't work. They upset me. So I was like, okay, raspberries aren't working. So they came off. Like I could feel straight away whether it was acidic, like my body reacted. And it's like to be so in tune with my body like I've never been before is incredible, so
empowering when you notice things almost in real time. It's almost like you're eating it and then you're like,
ooh, what's going on? It really is. And that's what it felt like. So yeah, it's really crazy. It's just, I think this is the true, like I'd never tried an elimination diet before. I'd never taken everything out, and to be able to do this and to really see what my body likes and doesn't, it's just really, I feel so privileged to be able to do this. It feels really great for me to have lived this like 36 years, and then finally I'm really treating my body how it deserves to be treated. Having an eating disorder, I've struggled with bulimia on and off since I was 15 years old. And since I've been eating an animal-based diet or a meat-based diet, it's gone for me. I haven't had any issues with it, which has been amazing. It's probably been the longest into my life where I haven't had issues with it. So
that's amazing. That's the power of getting the mindset right, getting the nutrition right, all of that. The payoff of why you're doing what you're doing. It's not so much that you're going on a diet, trying to kind of have X happen from that diet. It's going on the diet and then the down regulation of all the things that diet's doing for you, lowering insulin, lowering blood sugar, lowering inflammation levels, giving you more energy, making you feel better, helping you sleep better. Like all those things cumulatively add up to you feeling better in your mindset about, whoa, something's different.
Yeah, and it is. And it's like, it pays off. There's a reward because you start to feel so much better. You look better. You're able to work better. There's so many things, that you go, wow, this is just like life-changing.
Yes. So guys, if you just joined in, that is Coach Lulu. Go check her out. Lulu Eats Meat over on Instagram. And we're having a nice conversation here today about her carnivore journey, but more importantly, just overall on goal setting and on mindset. So let's get to goal setting, because I threw out a challenge to the people following me in my journey, Lulu. Hey, time for you to do your own journey, and I'm challenging you to kind of come up with goals. What are those things you want to do and accomplish? I have a love-hate relationship for goals, and let's see. My love is it gets you going on pursuing something. So you got your eye on the ball, that the goal is what it is. But I think people make the wrong goals. They say, I want to lose 25 kilo, for example, 60 pounds. And I think that's horrible that you put this arbitrary number out there of what you want to lose. You don't know what your body wants or needs to lose. You don't know how much muscle you're going to gain, which would then offset the fat loss, but then you'd be upset because you didn't hit your arbitrary, you see what I'm saying? So I feel the goal should be kind of more subjective type things, like I want to feel better, I want to feel stronger, I want to be calmer in my mind. Those are all things you can notice, but there's no quantification of I need X on the scale, I need blood sugar to be this. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I feel like if you make it more general, is that a good rule of thumb?
I think it needs to be, I like visualization as a tool when you're goal setting. I think if instead of looking at, I want to lose this many kilos, it's do you have a piece of clothing in your wardrobe that you want to fit comfortably into again? What does that look like? And having that put out somewhere, you can see it every day. That's just one thing that can keep you like goal orientated, going, oh, that's right, I'm gonna fit into you very soon. I'm gonna see you and I'm gonna fit into you. I don't like the scale thing is just so dangerous. But visualization, writing your goals out, having them written down so you can see them every day, so you are on track. Not just in a book, but somewhere, like when you wake up, you go, okay, these are my goals today. I've got these goals. But setting goals that are achievable. I don't think there's anything wrong with having like a long-term goal, as long as it's not going to keep you defeated. And that's why I like the tool of just having a piece of clothing out that you want to fit back into comfortably.
It's interesting to say that about the clothing to fit in comfortably. When I started my original Atkins journey, this was 17 years ago, I bought a pair of pants on day one of my journey. I was 410 pounds, 185 kilo, 190, something like kilo.
Yeah.
And I bought a pair of pants that were 20 sizes smaller than I was at that moment. Wow. And that was a little bold. That was a little hopeful, but I did. And I threw those pants up on the wall and said, I'm going to get into you someday.
Yes.
Visual. And literally, like, at first I was like, there's no way I can't fit one leg in that thing. And no. But then as I started losing weight and as I got to a point where I'm like, okay, they're sitting there, let's pull them down and try. Oh my gosh, I got a leg in. Yes. You know, and then slowly got both legs in. Can't close them, but yes. And then slowly got real close. And it really does work. It's a visual thing that I think kept me going when I got down during that journey.
Yeah, and it is. Having that visual tool is so important. And then the setting like goals that are achievable, like I said, micro goals. So whether they're daily goals, never more than 5 either. 5 goals. You can't have any more than 5. I like to keep it really simple. I usually only set 4 goals with my clients. Any more than 5 is it's just going to get too much. You can't be like, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. Also this, I want to achieve that. Like, no. What do you want to do? Drink water, eat meat, walk every day, do 10,000 steps, and then like read your goals every day. What are they? Like those are just keeping it really simple as just, and you can tick those boxes every day. It's like, yes, I've done it. Great. And if you don't tick one of those boxes one day, that's fine. Work out how, if you don't get your 10,000 steps in, go, okay, well, I'm going to do 12,000 steps for 5 days instead. Make up for it. Like, it doesn't have to be that hard, you know? We make it so hard.
Yes, exactly. My protocol, by the way, is about 8 things, but I've done this a while. So
when you've been doing it for a long time, for sure. But when you're starting out, it's something like this. It's like in this new kind of diet that's already taxing. You know, it's already quite hard on the body. Your energy levels drop. There's things that are happening that haven't happened to you before. When you like eliminate so many things, keep it simple.
Keep it simple, stupid. I love it. By the way, that expression here too, the whole kiss.
Oh, you do use it?
Yeah. What we say, bless your heart, kiss.
Oh, bless you. I say, oh, bless.
Yes. And it's not usually a nice thing if you.
You're like, oh God. You're basically saying, oh my God, did you really say that? Or, oh my God, did you? Yeah.
If a Southern American ever says, bless your heart, they're cussing you out. So.
I'll remember that. I hope to get to America for a holiday one day, that's for sure.
Yes, when the world is not so crazy.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm dying to go back to Australia, just not right this moment. So
Oh God. Yeah, we're lucky where I am. We haven't had a lockdown for quite some time.
Okay. My friends in Melbourne are just like,
oh, enough.
Crazy, but
it's horrible. It's so sad. And I'm so blessed, like being in Queensland where we are. I mean, we were lucky to get away once this year to interstate when the borders were open, but we're basically like, did any of your states close down so people couldn't travel from state to state?
I don't think they closed down completely. So if people didn't like what was going on, they would move out or get out. And a lot of Canadians came to America, to some of the freer states. I'm in one of the freer states in South Carolina, but like Florida, Texas, Tennessee. So people are fleeing where they're being open.
We literally are stuck. Like we are literally we are boarded in. Like we cannot leave unless you can travel for work, or like we haven't left here, Queensland, since we haven't personally since June.
Wow.
And like traveling, we used to travel to Melbourne and Sydney and so we can't do anything. So hopefully by Christmas we'll be open. That's what we keep getting told.
And people don't realize this about Australia. You literally have to fly to get
everywhere. It's such a big place. It really is.
I could drive if I wanted to, South Carolina to California, and get all your version of going to Perth. You would have to fly a 4.5-hour flight.
It would take days and days to drive to Perth. Yeah.
Well, and through all the middle part of Australia. It's bushland, right? And there's a lot of
The
scorpions
outback.
there.
Yeah.
And
It's like a desert.
yes, no, thank you.
No thanks.
Well, let's get to the mindset part of things, because
Cool.
I do think a lot of people have good intentions when they set these goals we were talking about earlier. They want to go carnivore. They want to have a health goal. They've got type 2 diabetes. They want to, beat that. They want to get off medication, whatever their goal is. But their mindset is, I'm just going to go, rather than, let me think about this. Let me think of like all the possibilities that could come up, which sometimes that can overwhelm people. But if you don't plan, you plan to fail. If you don't
That's right.
plan appropriately, you will plan to fail.
Mm-hmm.
And though people like, oh my gosh, that didn't work. No, you didn't work because you didn't get your mindset right. So how do you help your clients with that?
So for me, I don't ever tell people to start doing carnivore. If you're, I started on an animal-based sort of diet, like the Carnivore MD sort of like, I was doing a parasite cleanse when I first started, and a lot of the foods that were in that are still very similar to his sort of animal-based diet. So I was doing that, and then I just got a little bit stricter and a little bit stricter, and then I went all in. So I started in February, and then by May I went fully strict beef only for a month. And then, so I gave myself a few months to like work into it. And when I went strict in May, that's when I saw the most amazing, transformation, felt the best, all of that. So also with your mindset, it's so important to, like I said, keep your goals simple, but also just making sure that you are set up at home.
Yes.
So pantry is a big thing. So what I did was reorganize the pantry, removed anything that I couldn't, or that might trigger me to a place where I couldn't see it in the pantry, in the fridge as well. If my husband was still, he'd still have chocolate then. I put anything that I didn't want to see in the where the vegetable crisper was, even though there was hardly anything in there but onions. I'd hide anything like that in there. So then it was just out of my sight. When I made it really clear to friends and family that this is what I was doing an elimination diet, and excuse me, and just said, like, whatever we do, wherever we go, we really just need to make sure that it's going to be friendly for me. I was very assertive, and I think you need to be assertive when it comes to,
yes.
Yeah. And when people question you about it, like I found some really interesting YouTube videos about meat and like agriculture, and I made sure I was armed with information, so people go, isn't it really bad for us and for the environment, and go, well, did you know that the vegan diet's terrible for the environment as well? So I just made sure I was armed with information, and I felt confident to have those conversations with people.
And look, I think I'm tired of having to play defense about my choice for eating. It's like, shut the fuck up. Like, I'm eating.
Literally.
Yeah, literally. It's working for me. Like, why do you care how I eat?
Yeah.
We're in this culture now with lots of things where people care about your choices that you make about what you put in your body. And it's like, why do you care what I eat? If I choose to eat all chicken poop, then that's on me. Like, I got plenty of it, by the way, back there. And I'm making that choice. It's none of your business. Like, and that's a mindset. Don't feel like, guys, and I want to hear your thoughts, Lulu. Don't feel like you've got to justify your choice about anything in your life, especially related to your health. Don't feel like you've got to justify it to anybody.
And that's the thing, when people start seeing a difference in you, they want to know more. They want to try it. And that's what's happened with me. At the start, everyone's like, oh, now I have so many friends reaching out, people I know, neighbors who are all doing this now, who are all living a lower carb lifestyle or a zero carb lifestyle, and because they've seen what it's done for me and how much I changed. Like this time last year, I was quite sick with my OCD. I wouldn't say I was suicidal, but there was lots of thoughts there. And I definitely really struggled with just getting up every day. I didn't want to get up, and I was tried lots of different medications, and finally I landed on a medication that worked for me. And that's something I'm really honest about, as well as I do take medication for my mental health, and it's a tool, and that's what I do. The person that I was for that year of 2020 was not that wasn't me. It was just, I can't explain what had happened there when I had my first OCD episode with it. I'm so open about the fact that, with your mindset, it's totally okay to take medication. Yeah. It's totally okay to eat a diet that works best for you.
Yes.
And to completely own that. Exercise, you need to just do what you can to make yourself feel better. And there's lots of other things that got me to here, but I think just being really passionate about what you believe in, but also not being an asshole. That's really important.
The no asshole diet, I am all for. I'm going to write that as a bestseller.
Yeah, I love that. Just don't be an asshole. And it's I just keep it really honest. And then when people are asking you about, at the start I was like, oh, this is weird, and it felt a bit strange. But then once I really got into it and I realized what it was doing for me, I just owned it. And I was really lucky. I hear a lot of women talking about how their husbands worry about the amount of meat they're eating. My husband was like, this is awesome. He loves it and thinks it's great. He's like, you eat, I can eat more than him at times. So.
Are you tired of playing the mask game? Me too. That's why I wanted to tell you about the Unmask. This is a breathable, completely breathable. It covers, you can't even see that it's breathable, but it's breathable. Whether you're going on a plane, having to go into a store and wearing this thing, playthemaskgame.com is how you can get this mask. They come in all kinds of colors and everything. In fact, right there, you can see right through it what it is, but when you're wearing it, it does not look like it's anything different, but it's breathable, baby. Playthemaskgame.com.
Most guys love the carnivore diet. So if their girl says, hey baby, we're gonna eat all meat, but
meat now. And that's what we're gonna do now. And that's I feel really confident as a carnivore. I think it's done it so much for my confidence. The fact that I just feel I don't know, it's done something to me. It's made me feel sexier. It's made me feel more confident. My body composition's definitely changed since I became a carnivore. The mindset, as soon as you start to see results, as soon as you start to feel better, it just goes from there. And we have bad days. We have good and bad days. Everybody does. But you just have to reflect back to your goals, why you're doing it, how you feel, and keep it really honest. Be honest.
Yes. And look, I see people like Brett Lloyd, who I've had on the podcast recently, Thankful Carnivore. You know him, right? And other people that, if you do it for no other reason, just for that calmness in your mood and taking care of the anxiety and helping you deal with life. Like when you were in the throes of that OCD last year, which by the way, a lot of us were in the throes of a lot of Be kind to yourself of that, what you went through, that we were under extraordinarily strange times in our history. So we all had our moments last year, and I was going through a very difficult personal issue that had me on the mental edge as well. And so if I wasn't eating kind of keto carnivore, I don't know how I would have mentally handled it. So the diet does do a lot to kind of help you with that mindset, because it at least calms things down while you're trying to deal with the stuff in your head.
And that's it. I feel as though it gives us this level of just calm and peace. It's just not having the sugar and the crap and all the other shit that goes with it. It's just, it creates this calmness. And to be honest, the medication helped me, but the biggest change I saw in myself was when I started carnivore. And I still take medication, and I still have OCD, and it's there every day, but I manage it so much better now. So my mental health, so I had the OCD episode in January of 2020, so just before all the COVID shit happened. And I have pure O, so it's a subtype of OCD, and it's I basically was getting stuck in thought loops. So it's like my brain broke on me, And they were horrible things, and they were really dark. So I'd had lots of rumination about really dark things and things that were just completely opposite to my values. So I was basically felt like I was stuck for almost, a year. I was so lucky that I was able to get the help and the everything. And now I feel as though I'm better than before. Like the person I was before this I'm a better version of Lulu now. And to go through that and then to be able to continue with the goals and the mindset that I was able to have after the fact is just, I'm so blessed. So to have this life every day, it's like, I hear people say, I have to do this. It's like, no, you get to do this. Like you get to wake up, you get to go for a walk. I was trapped in my brain and my body, and I didn't with what happened to me. I just was reflecting on this yesterday with my husband, like the thoughts that I was having until now and the way I couldn't get out of bed, and it's just incredible. It's so incredible. And I get to wake up every day and I get to live this life. I get to help people. I get to just, everything that I have I'm so grateful for it.
Lulu 2.0.
Love it.
Well, I think everyone is capable of that, Lulu. That's the funny part. Like people feel like there's this inevitability that they've tried diets, they've failed, they tried to do this, their mindset wasn't right. They had this perception that they failed, whether they failed or not, they had the perception that they failed. And so getting out of the failure mindset and just going in confidently, like when you start a carnivore diet or keto diet or whatever you're choosing to do in your life, you guys, when you start, go into it with the expectation that it's going to, expectation of success, with the big picture goal, with those goal pants like what I had or what you're talking about here, set some goal up. That way there's excitement when you wake up in the morning, you see those goals very clearly outlined for the day, the long-term goals, these positive affirmations that you tell yourself, all of that feeds into you. And yet when you come into it with a sourpuss face in the morning, I have to do this, no wonder you fail.
And that's it. I'm huge about I love the law of attraction. And I use a lot of that in my everyday life, and it keeps me very motivated. So love that. For me, that really helps. But like you said, with expectation, I think it's great to have expectation for ourselves, but just to make sure we have no expectations for anybody else.
Yes.
Because if we expect other people to push us, to help us, to, we can't have that expectation. We need to find that within ourselves. That's
same with motivation. And I feel like people are like, well, I'd get started if I could be motivated. And somebody said that my journey, they've been watching me, has motivated them. And I'm like, no, okay, maybe I was the spark, but you need to be your own motivation. You need to kind of find your why, find what it is that gets you going, because I can't manufacture that for you.
No.
What happens when you lose interest in kind of what I'm doing, and then you're left with your own devices? Where are you going to get your motivation at that point?
Yeah. And I think that when coming back to when you're starting carnivore as well, or any kind of lifestyle, or I don't like to call it a diet, because it's a lifestyle. But, and I've, too many diets to count, but I really feel as though when you're starting this lifestyle, you need to give yourself at least like 30 or 60, I think 60 days. You've got to set it, like that is huge. Say, I'm going to do this for 60 days.
Yes.
Because if you just start without a plan and without that mindset of, this is just 2 months of my life, this is what I'm going to do, and I'm going to see how it goes. If you just start, then it's just, you can't. You need to set a plan and make sure that that is in place.
You should see the emails I get from people, Lulu. I've been on keto for a whole 3 days and I've not lost any weight and I feel crap. I'm like, wait, what?
What, 3 days?
3 days? You're not even barely keto adapted at all yet. Like, you got to go at least 2 to 4 weeks to be keto adapted. And I usually say 60 to 90 days, give it a go, 60 to 90 days.
Yes.
It's 3 months.
You still need that.
Yes, you need to shift. There's something off.
Yeah. And that's so important. I think we live in this place now where we want everything yesterday. And it's just not how it works when it comes to your health and your lifestyle. You can't have it yesterday. You need to just continue to Like, you have to have a plan and implement a plan. That is huge about the mindset piece, is saying, okay, I'm going to commit to this. Like, if you've committed to smoking your whole life, you've committed to get up and have a cigarette every day, haven't you? So, like, it's not hard to make a commitment if you really think about it.
If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. I love
That's right. Yeah, 100%.
Yes. So what's next for Lulu?
So for me at the moment, I'm just like, I also work full time. I work in finance, so that keeps me very busy. Yoga, I teach yoga twice a week, or yeah, at the moment. Namaste. So I love that so much. It really helps to fill my cup, because my Monday to Friday job doesn't really give me much creative outlet. So having the yoga on the side is awesome. And then I'm coaching. So I allow myself to coach 2 days a week because my life is very full. So if anybody wants to have a chat to me about coaching, you can go to my Instagram page and there's information there, or just send me a message as well. If the times aren't available to you, I can generally do lots of other times, but just I've given myself a strict time frame. I've been coaching through Rivero, which was Meet RX. That's me. Love that. Thank you, Jimmy. But I've just had to make the windows quite small. So if they don't fit in with you, just let me know and I'll make them available. Because I live on the other side of the world, so it's quite hard. And a lot of my clients are in America, so it's quite hard to sort of work that out. But
by the way, you were so gracious. I said, what time can we record that it's not like the middle of the night? Like all the Aussie friends that I have, they're like, I'll get up at 2 o'clock in the morning just to be on your show. I'm like, no. Be somewhat semblance of normal. So what time is it there right now?
It is 5:44 in the morning.
5 o'clock. She started this interview in the morning. Yeah. So I could start at 3 o'clock, because I think you wanted to go like 5 or 6 p.m. my time. And I'm like, oh, I'm like wasted.
I'm out. I'm done by then. No, and that's the thing. I'm up really early. So
this is my latest in the day for me and your earliest in the day for you. So yeah.
That's me. That's it. I'm generally, my husband gets up for work at 3:30 a.m. So I generally will get up sometime around then and go to the gym. So I like to work out in the morning, get it all done, get it over and done with. I find that's the best time of the day. And that's another thing about, goal setting and mind setting. If you need to make things fit into your day, get up an hour earlier.
Yes.
Just do it. And I get up super early. We're in bed early anyway, but I get up early and I just do it.
Well, how early the sun came up in Australia too. It was like 4:30. Sometimes.
Yes. So it's up now, and it's like 5:45, and it's like fully like a day out. It's just normal right now out there.
Crazy, and then it goes down. Yeah, it's like shortly after, or at least the family I stayed with in Melbourne, they went to sleep like shortly after the sun went down, and I'm like, it's still early. Like, what are we going to bed for?
I know. They have daylight savings. Yeah, it's so funny. It's random. Yeah. There's so much light, and then in winter it gets really dark, and it stays dark. It's so funny.
Yes. Yeah. Well, Coach Lulu is her name, you guys. Go check her out. Lulu Eats Meat over on Instagram. She does have that wonderful link tree where you can book her. You can see the other podcasts that she's been on. You were on my Bud Carnivore cast recently. I've seen you on a lot of Instagram lives, and I was very happy to be able to get you on my show here today. So thank you,
Jimmy.
Here today.
Thanks.
You are lovely. Got to virtually, at least online. One of these days, I'm going to give you a big hug there in Australia.
Love it.
Come to the States.
Sounds amazing.
Get inspiration from the Living La Vida Low Carb Show. Hey, the livinglowcarbshow.com.
Woo! Have you experienced the dreaded keto flu? Did you know that most of these symptoms are actually due to your body dumping excess electrolytes? This is where Element comes in. Element is a tasty electrolyte drink mix with everything you need and nothing you don't. That means lots of salt with no sugar. Element is formulated to help anyone with their electrolyte needs and is perfectly suited to folks following a keto, low carb, or paleo diet. Element contains a science-backed electrolyte ratio, 1,000 milligrams of sodium, 200 milligrams potassium, and 60 milligrams of magnesium, with none of the junk, no sugar, no coloring, no artificial ingredients, no gluten, no fillers, no BS. Everyone needs electrolytes, especially those on low-carb diets, or if you practice intermittent or extended fasting, if you're physically active or sweat a lot. Add Element today and see how much better you feel and perform. Use the URL drinklmnt.com/Jimmy.